Welcome back to my channel, everyone. My name is Blue Gators, and today we're going to be talking about greatest character in Attack on Titan, Armin Arlott. Now, Marcel, this is for you, but before we get into this, shout out to Eva Girl, let's say pronounce her name. This comment she made, this is what I'm trying to say for a while, but I think she articulated it very well. So shout out to her for saying that comment. And we're actually going to be talking about this in the video. Now, Armin has an iPhone 12. Now, what do I mean by that? What do I mean Armin has an iPhone 12? And that's kind of a funny analogy or a funny thought, but this analogy is probably one of my best analogies I've ever used, except for maybe that cop analogy. That one was pretty good too. If you don't know what my cop analogy is, go watch my PV AOE video, which probably will be in the card somewhere. So, without further ado, let's just get into the video. So, using the iPhone 12 is a great example for Armin's mindset. So let's lay this out, right? So Aaron has an iPhone 14 Pro Max, all maxed out, full storage, full everything. Hannes and Papa Jaeger. Papa Jaeger is what Fox Anime would call Grish's dad. So he's Papa Jaeger. So I'm only referring to him as Papa Jaeger. So Hannes, Papa Jaeger have a flip phone. Armin has an iPhone 12. Aaron has an iPhone 14 Pro Max. Now, why do I say that? The reason why I say that is simple. There are two main archetypes of people in Attack on Titan. There's those who are satisfied with their bad situations and have no will to better their situations. Then there's people like Aaron who rejects being oppressed, rejects their loss of privilege and rights. Again, also like Grisha, you can also use Grisha, and fight for that all they can have, right? The reason why I say Armin has an iPhone 12 is because if you take the contentment factor into this, Aaron is constantly wanting more. He wants more. So he has a maxed out phone. Hannes and Papa Jaeger, they, even though the flip phone causes them actual significant trouble, they don't want to better their lives. Armin, however, is perfect. He's not in the middle because he's a moderate. He's the perfect mindset. He has an iPhone 12, which is perfectly fine. It's a good phone. Does a lot of cool stuff. Does not do exactly what the iPhone 14 Pro Max can do, but it does pretty good stuff. He has it. He enjoys what he has, but at the same time, he wants to buy the latest phone. Okay, so you see what I'm trying to get at here? Let me explain this again. Okay, just to make sure everyone gets it. Okay, Armin in his life enjoys what he has in the moment, or enjoys the good stuff he has in his current situation, but he also would like to experience greater things. Okay, and here's where the phone analogy really takes off. I really like that we use phones specifically because phones are constantly being updated. And this is why Aaron is never free. Because Aaron has an iPhone 14 Max, right? Next year, iPhone 15 comes out. Now all of a sudden he's discontent. He realizes, oh, wait, I don't have that feature anymore. I'm not content anymore. And then the next phone comes out, the next phone comes out, the next phone. You will never get the latest phone because there'll always be a new phone. And that is how, and this is the way that Armin actually turns his greatest weakness, or sorry, Aaron's greatest weakness into Armin's own greatest strength. And what do I mean by that? Aaron's biggest weakness or biggest flaw in his ideology or his thought pattern is the fact that his life and his time are limited. He can't live forever. Therefore, his freedom is limited and his time is limited. And so he will never be able to experience all the things he wants to experience. Sorry. He'll never be able to do everything he wants to do everything. He will always be limited by something, right? In just the same way that he will never have the greatest phone because after he dies, guess what? Next year another phone's gonna come out, right? And he'll die with a subpar phone. Armin, since he has a limited lifespan, he cannot experience everything in the world. He cannot have all his experiences. So that guarantees he will never run out of new things to experience, which means he's always going to be happy. You see how that works? That delicate balance between knowing you can do better, knowing you should be treated better, right? In terms of the oppression aspect, knowing you should be treated better, but still enjoying what you actually have that's good in your life, but still striving to better your position. It's that very delicate balance that Armin masterfully pulls off throughout the entirety of his life. You see, another good example of this would be I forgot exactly which person it was, but it probably doesn't matter because you probably heard a story with a bunch of athletes. Athlete trains majority of his life, right? To be an athlete. He trains, he goes to school, he gets his body in peak position, he continues to play for years. Then he gets drafted, then he trains for anywhere from a season's worth to seasons worth to get a title. And they get a title, and I'm sure you guys have heard the story a billion times. They're like, oh, this was it? Well, yeah, that was it. The problem this is the problem with staking your goals on one particular thing, the ocean, is once you get there, it's over. It's sort of like this is gonna be like a weird example. Sort of like Attack on Titan, really. It's like a lot of people don't like the post. Some people don't like the time skip because we had direction. Basement. And the basement came. I was like, well, why are we watching Attack on Titan anymore? To simplify it, Armin wants to collect experiences. So when he reaches the ocean, he's like, okay, check mark, next experience. Because he already had a bunch of check marks beforehand. He said, okay, read a book, check mark. Okay, run a race, check mark. Feed a squirrel, check mark. And then okay, ocean, check mark. Excellent. Going to the next thing. And that's why Aaron said that he would be better for the Colossal Titan, and that's why he was 100% right. I was a complete Aaron fanatic. I was like, Aaron, give it to Aaron, give it to Aaron. But the second Aaron said that, instant mind change, because he's right. Because Armin's motor is infinite, well, not infinite, but Armin's motor is infinite in his lifespan. He can always continue to push himself forward, always, because there's always something new to experience. And this is another thing. This is why Aaron is never happy, because when this happens twice. There's two scenes of this I'm going to use. When Aaron goes to the ocean, he's like, he starts to talk about it, he starts to get excited. This is at the last episode of season 3. He starts to get excited. And I think it's chapter 96, if I'm not mistaken. He starts to get excited. And then he starts to think about all the bad stuff that's happened on the other side of the ocean. And then he gets sad again. So you see, there's a duality, because the oceans are like a blank slate. There's the happiness aspect, and there's also the despair aspect. And Aaron literally says this when he goes to get the story in his hand. He says, was it hope we found, or was it despair? He's asking that question because depending on your ideology, it will be interpreted as that. So silly Jaegerists keep trying to tell me, oh, it was the ocean was just another wall. It was just more despair. And that is how you perpetually trap yourself in discontentment and unhappiness. Because then they say, oh, he's going to go marry a historian and be happy. And again, I know I'm simplifying this, but if he goes marries Astoria, That could also just be another wall. That's a whole other can of worms that you open. The problem is that since Armin, and I'm repeating myself again, I'm just trying to really hammer this point in. Fact is, Armin understands the fact that there of that duality. He understands that there's always despair and hope in any given situation. So what he does is he only focuses on the hope side. He enjoys the hope side, and as for the despair side, he says, "Okay, let me find a way to put this behind me and get more hope." Right? In a way. So that is why I say Armin is he's literally the greatest character. And it depends on how you define the word greatest. Maybe you disagree. You can say Aaron's the greatest character because he's the most complex. Perfectly valid. But I say he's the greatest character because he is the personification of the main theme, the main message of the story, right? The message of the story is the maxim, stop and smell the roses, right? Or count your blessings is another one. That is personified in Armin, and it's personified in such a real way that it has you have no choice but to have your mind change, unless again you're a stubborn Jaeger who thinks that the ocean's just another wall. You have to have your mind changed. Arthur is another great example of this as well. The reason why I didn't bring up Arthur is because he's not a major character, but Arthur being Sasha's father is another great example of this as well. So Arthur fans, don't get upset. Trust me, I like him just as much as you do. All of what I just said makes him the freest. And maybe some AoE bros who are watching this have noticed, but that is why I am wearing blue. Now, it's hard to tell. This is blue, okay? But my other jacket that's blue is at the other place, but you know what I mean. It's color coordinated to be blue because the blue eyes symbolizes in Armin and in Aaron symbols, but we're not gonna get into that. The blue symbolizes ocean, symbolizes freedom. Armin's the freest, hence why I'm wearing blue. Nice little Easter egg, huh? But anyway, thank you for watching. I know it's kind of short, but people like short videos. So thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe, very important, and join the Discord. We have tons of fun there. And that's where we do our debates. So we know if you join. Link will be in the description. Thanks for watching and have a great day.